Alright, hey y'all, it's Jay with Jey Meka's channel. She's not here for this review of Daredevil Born Again, episodes 5 and 6. These aired last night, so I'm going to go through them, what I've seen and whatnot, and then kind of talk about going forward and everything. Just a little review of the episodes, that we do weekly. So, let's start with, Born Again, episode 5, I believe it was called With Interest. In this episode, pretty much takes place in a central location, with Daredevil going into a bank, looking for a loan for his law firm to expand and whatnot. Once he goes in there, we see that the assistant bank manager is actually the father of Kamala Khan, Mr. Khan. I forget his first name, but he's the assistant manager. Ends up helping him, denying his loan and whatnot. But the thing is, and they actually speak upon Kamala Khan in this episode, thus bringing her into this version of the universe. Because as you know, with Marvel, everything one way or another is connected. So they did that, and during this whole scenario, the bank ends up getting robbed by the henchmen who were actually part of Kingpin squad, but more or less Vanessa. These were the guys that robbed the truck. I believe a couple of episodes back, the episode where the Punisher showed up, where they pretty much robbed that truck and whatnot, the shipments and things that they had going on, which to me this was very interesting because I feel like, well, actually I'll expand upon that when we get to episode 6, but these gentlemen were part of that whole faction of whatnot, with Vanessa and the Kingpin. So they go to rob the bank. They're looking to get into a vault, all these things. I believe it looks like a diamond or something of that nature that they're after. Long story short, Matt Murdock's in there. He does what he, needs to do, disables the gentleman and whatnot. Ends up getting what they're looking for out of the vault. Pretty much no harm, no foul at the end of this episode, truthfully. People say this episode's filler. It wasn't necessarily filler because it did have certain specific plot points in it, but let's be honest, it really was. It introduced Kamala Khan into this universe for the most part, and it had something to do with, the henchmen from Kingpin and Vanessa. That's it. That's literally all this episode really did. It didn't extrapolate anything out from there, but I mean, it was, to me, it was, as soon as I figured out those two things, it's like, okay, what else is going to go on? So that was, episode 5 with interest. It wasn't a bad episode. It wasn't the best episode, though. It wasn't, it didn't really do anything for me. So, and now we're getting into episode 6. Now, prior to speaking about this, I will say at this point, I believe this season is 10 episodes. So, we're past the halfway point. And to this point, I won't say I've been let down by the series, but it has not met my expectations. I understand character building. They have a new audience that may not have seen the Netflix series, which is understandable. I've seen them all, as I'm pretty sure for you to have a certain level of interest in this, you've had to see a certain amount of that also. So you're kind of building characters that we kind of already know for the most part. So at this point, we've seen the Daredevil costume one time, and essentially every episode has been a lot of character building. We've had a lot of in and outs, Bullseye, first episode, in and gone. White Tiger had about 2 episodes, in and gone. We've seen the Punisher one time. It's just kind of, or whatnot. But, so, episode 6 starts. And, we're kind of going through the process of that. This episode starts with, now we're getting into Muse, the character of Muse, who is, it starts with them finding the graffiti around the city and the paintings, which are infused with the bloods of the victims that Muse has, that he's using to make his masterpieces, so you say. And that's the whole thing. Angela, I forget the last name, but the niece of the White Tiger, she comes to Matt telling him that, her uncle was, what he was working on, that people are going to miss in a certain area. That's what was going on. Matt pretty much says he can't help her, and I'm gonna talk about her in a moment actually, but she kind of goes out to hey, you're not helping me, whatever. She goes on about her business. Um, you have that, and then you have the Kingpin or Mr. Fisk at this point, because I really don't feel like we've seen the Kingpin. Truthfully, we've just seen Mr. Fisk or whatnot. Um, he has his parts within the episode, nothing too major. So to kind of surmise this episode up is really in the last few moments of it, to be perfectly honest with you. Angela goes looking for what her uncle was, as the White Tiger was researching or investigating, I will say, down in the subway systems, and the Muse gets his hands on her. Knocks her out, throws her over his shoulder. He's taking her down there. Um, Side note about her. So here's the thing: she looks to be about 13 or 14, so she's not gonna be the new White Tiger right now. This little girl is running around the city. She's down in subway substations looking for a killer that her uncle was investigating as a super. Where the hell are her parents at? Where's her mother? Her mother's calling Matt Murdock. You see my daughter? Like, why the hell don't you know where your daughter's at? She's too damn young to be doing what she's doing. Like this, that, like I was like completely befuddled by that. Like, yo, why is she down here? Yeah, she got caught slipping. She's 13, 14. She shouldn't even be doing none of this. But anyways, so she calls Matt, and Matt suits up, goes to find her. You know what I mean? Because by this time, Mr. Fisk and everybody, they know about Muse and what he's doing exactly, because the people that are cleaning the graffiti, they don't know or whatnot. So he goes down there. We finally get to see the suit again. He suits up. He goes down to the subway stations, and he fights the Muse, which a pretty decent fight. And truth be told, the Muse was kind of holding his own. He's obviously not super trained like Daredevil and things of that nature, but he was holding his own against him. Mind you, at the same time, Daredevil was trying to make sure that Angela was safe, or because he had succeeded in getting her to the point where he was draining her blood to be the next person whose blood would do his masterpieces and whatnot. But the interesting thing in this, you kind of see the rage in Matt / the Daredevil kind of come out whilst he's fighting him. He starts to kind of become unhinged, or kind of get some of that extra aggression out, some of that excessive force, as the name of this episode was, to come out during his fight with Muse. And also, simultaneously, Mr. Fisk they show him walking down to his substation where he has Adam in the cell down there. And I found something interesting, or at least I'm pretty sure people may have noticed it, but I noticed it. Down in this area where he, in the previous episodes where he was indulging himself in the meals that he hadn't been eating previously when he was, above ground, he was just eating, like a chicken breast and like 2 pieces of asparagus. But when down here, he's eating a steak. And I believe this is where he's starting to become the Kingpin again, kind of diving into that other aspect of himself. When he was walking through that white painting that he had way back in like season 1 or 2, I believe it was, or season 1, the where he met Vanessa that calmed him. It seemed to be down there in that area. And I'm pretty sure that's what I've seen. I haven't gone back to check it, but I'm pretty sure that's what I've seen. But anyway, so he goes down there with the axe and he gives it to Adam, and tells him, hey, when I was smaller, I had to fight guys bigger than me, and I had to take down guys 3 times my size. He gives him the axe. He says sometimes a weapon is all you need. So pretty much invited him to come and do that to him. And then they get into a fight. And during his fight with Adam, he becomes unhinged, violent, very, visceral with his violence towards Adam and whatnot. The same way that Matt was doing with Muse on his end of things. And the kind of cool thing about it is they both were in a position to where they could have ended their opposition. Matt had the Muse suspended with his whatever the I don't know if it, with his weapon or whatnot, over a ladder, pretty much, strangling him and whatnot. But he let that go and make sure that Angela was able to, be revived from the status that she was in. And Kingpin, he pretty much just beat the hell out of Adam and threw him back in there into his cage or whatnot, into, the jail cell setup that he had for him. And then at the end of the fight with Daredevil and Muse got away, whilst Daredevil was attending to Angela, and the Kingpin just locked Adam back into the cell of which he was holding him at. So, so that was that episode. Actually, I thought it was a good episode. I wasn't really. It put it like this: the last little stanza of that episode, the last quarter, I would say the last 15 minutes actually, to me saved it. That kind of it gave me what I've been looking for from Daredevil. Like, we got a lot of that in the previous iterations of the show. I get the character building stuff, but I'm hoping what they're building towards is like a kind of a triumphant ending to this first season of this show, you know, because it has been a little light on the action and things of that nature. And I'm not saying that you need to have just tons of action and everything like that. And I know there are people out there like, oh yeah, the character building. Like, yes, character building is great. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But there needs to be a balance. I'm not one of these snobby people that's just like, oh yeah, all character building, it has to be perfect. No, but give me something to engage with. I did not, you know, like, I'm watching this because I want to see Daredevil. Yes, it has Law and Order aspects to it, and it has superhero aspects to it. I don't want to be so stuck in the Law and Order side that I forget that this is a goddamn blind man who's able to fight and all this other stuff and zip through the cities and stuff. Like, keep me in that realm also. So, and then with this last part they did, they kind of brought it back to that where they have done it before. So I appreciate that much. So, yeah, that was episode 5 and 6, with interest and excessive force of Daredevil Born Again season 1. So this kind of brought me back into it. I'm really looking forward to see what they do next week with episode 7. I'm really waiting. This is what I want to get into when I was speaking earlier. There's been a lot of things that have come and gone. Like I said, up until this episode, we only seen the Daredevil suit one time. We've seen the Punisher one time. We've seen Bullseye one time. We're just now getting the news. We're hearing about Kamala Khan, with whatever. But the biggest thing is, this whole season, you know, we've had Mr. Fist, but we haven't had the Kingpin. We had a glimpse of it this episode with this, and we had a glimpse of it in the very first episode when he was going through his closet and he had the white suit that he didn't put on. He put this, you know, the suit, the type of attire he's been wearing. So I feel like now we're getting ready to get to that. Okay, now we're getting ready to get deeper into that. Hey, this is the Kingpin. All right, Kingpin. Daredevil, you know what I mean? Unhinged a little bit, you know, but you know, like, I feel like we're getting there, and hopefully if all of that they've been doing, and even if they have to do a little bit more leads to that, I'm perfectly fine with it. So, yeah. But hey, that's my review of Daredevil Born Again season 1, episodes 5 and 6. See you next week for episode 7. Give me a like, comment, subscribe below, and we're going to keep it moving. Y'all have a good one.